So here we are, kids, day 13 of the April number corner. Let's take a look at what we have to do today. Calendar grid update, right? So your markers over here to the right. Make sure you're looking at length and width and height and recording your volume of that rectangular prism in cubic units, right? We're also going to need to break out that calendar collector. If you have that as an electronic copy like I have up here, go ahead and open that. If you have it on a piece of paper or in your notebook, go ahead and look at that. Remember, that's that collection where we're collecting 3/4 of an hour or 3/4 of a dollar every day. All right. So initially, what we want you to do is go ahead and look at that first column and then notice any patterns. So I have my finished day 13 number corner for calendar collector done. Go ahead and look at yours, compare your uh, grid, your columns to my columns, and see if you notice any patterns. What are the patterns that you notice in this first column? Now, as I'm looking through, I notice, right, it goes 3/4, 1.5, 2.25, 3. So I have 3/4, 1.5, 1.25, whole number. 3 3 3/4, 4.5, 5.25, whole number. 6.25, 7.5, 8.25, 9, or whole number. So there seems to be a little pattern developing there. That's pretty interesting. All right, so now if we look at the next one, it says, look at this fraction and decimal column for money. What do you recognize within the column and between the columns? So as I go down 3/4, 1.5, 2.25, 3, very similar to the one with our running total, right? As I reduce my fractions. But as I look at my decimal forms, it does increase by 75 cents as we head down our total, right? And obviously, it increases by 3/4 as we head down the fractions. Good. So now let's look at the fraction column, the time fraction column. What do you notice? Now, I notice, hopefully you do. Well, why don't you think about what is going on down this column? What do you notice about the increase in time? Right? We're supposed to add 3/4 of an hour. 3/4 of an hour is 45 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and add just 45 minutes as we head down. So we're going to finish at 585 minutes. And then if we look at the columns in the total time fractions, they also match actually the fractions of money. But the fractions don't match, right? This is 450 100ths. This is 270 60ths. But yet, when reduced, it equals the same fraction. So when you see halves, when do you see halves in these columns? How much half dollars and how much of a half an hour? Well, when we see halves, how much is a half a dollar? Right? It's 50 cents. And when we see half an hour, how much is it? Just 30 minutes. So when we take a look, this explains why our fractions are so high on this side, because half of an hour here, or half of a dollar here, is 50 cents. Half of half of an hour is 30 minutes, which is why our total time is less. But our fractions are the same. Interesting. All right, that's about it for today. I hope everything's going well for you. If you have any questions or your numbers aren't just matching up the way that mine happen to be matching up, because, I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I know it seems like I might be, but I do make mistakes. My kids will tell you all day that I make mistakes. But contact your teacher, ask them if you can meet with them and get things corrected. If not, I hope you're having a great time, and I hope everything's going well for you and enjoy math.